welcome to Business Point here on Global Television, your hub for topical discussions in the world of business, where we talk about tech, innovation, government policies, entrepreneurship, basically all around business. I am Queen Agaba, and today we look at news making rounds in business, starting off first with the Abia State government announcing plans to launch a comprehensive enumeration of all residential and commercial properties across the state as part of efforts to boost internally generated revenue, IGR, from 40 billion naira to 120 billion naira by the end of 2025. Now, the initiative represents a significant step in the government's broader economic strategy that is aimed at achieving fiscal sustainability and improving public sector performance. Now, the announcement was disclosed by the Commissioner for Information, Oke Kanu, who stated that the initiative aims to expand the state's tax base by bringing more residents and businesses into the formal tax system, as reported by the News Agency of Nigeria. Now, speaking to journalists in Umuahia, Kanu described the enumeration exercise as a central component of Governor Alex Oti's fiscal reform agenda that is designed to enhance revenue collection, promote fairness in taxation, and improve access to public services. He further noted that beyond enhancing tax compliance, the project would also strengthen state security initiatives and provide accurate data for planning economic policies and delivering essential social infrastructure. The availability of detailed property data is expected to improve budgeting, service delivery, and the overall transparency of the state's fiscal management. Moving on, Bitcoin climbed above $97,000 before settling back to $96,000 as markets reacted to China's liquidity injection and speculation over potential U.S. Federal Reserve monetary policy shifts. The surge coincided with China's announcement of a $138 billion economic stimulus package. Now, this has intensified debate over global macroeconomic stability ahead of a Federal Open Market Committee, that's FOMC meeting. The People's Bank of China announced a series of monetary policy adjustments, including a 0.5 percentage point reduction in the reserve requirement ratio, effectively releasing 1 trillion yuan, that is $138 billion, in long-term liquidity. Now, the markets responded swiftly. According to the Kobesi letter, S&P 500 futures surged over 1%, triggering Bitcoin's climb past $97,000 before it pulled back. As of this writing, BTC is trading at $96,497, up to 2.16% over the last 24 hours. Gold maintained its shine, while Bitcoin hovered around $100,000 as investors braced for the Federal Reserve's policy announcement amid heightened geopolitical risks. Now, the U.S. Federal Open Market Committee is expected to maintain its interest rate between 4.25% and 4.50%, consistent with its previous two-day policy decision. Markets are closing, watching Fed Chair Jeremy Powell's speech for insights regarding recent inflation trends, declining consumer demand, and ongoing price pressures. Now, spot gold traded above $3,350 per ounce, while Bitcoin was priced at $96,500, remaining steady near the peak of its recent trading range. A strong appetite for gold among Chinese investors, coupled with central banks reducing their exposure to American assets, particularly the US dollar, has helped support the precious metal gold. Now, moving on, Nigerian business leaders are leaning into artificial intelligence, AI, and strategic reinvention to future-proof their companies amid rising economic pressures. According to PwC's 28th Annual Global CEO Survey, the report reveals that 72% of Nigerian CEOs expect AI to significantly transform their workforce and skill strategies, outspacing their peers in sub-Saharan Africa by 60% and globally 68%. Now, more than 6 in 10 Nigerian CEOs, that's 61%, also believe AI will become a central pillar of their business strategy, slightly ahead of the 58% recorded across Africa and globally. From the findings, PCWC's findings suggest that AI is not just a buzzword in Nigeria boardrooms, it is becoming a key driver of innovation. According to the report, about 67% of Nigerian CEOs believe that AI will spur the development of new products and services far higher than the 30% global average, showing the country's growing appetite for tech-driven growth. The data tells a story of CEOs who are under pressure but also ambitious and willing to embrace innovation. Despite this optimism, CEOs are still grappling with macroeconomic volatility, inflation, high interest rates, and currency fluctuations. These challenges remain top of mind for most executives. A striking 58% of Nigerian CEOs feel highly or extremely exposed to inflation, well above the sub-Saharan African average of 42% and the global average of 29%. Meanwhile, 31% are worried about a widening skills gap, citing a shortage of workers with the right capabilities to match emerging demands, especially in AI and tech. Now, in response to economic pressure and evolving business landscape, the report shows that Nigerian CEOs are already pivoting. 61% have entered new sectors in the past 5 years, compared to 50% across the sub-Saharan Africa and 38% globally. It's worthy of note that 56% have also expanded their customer base, significantly ahead of regional 42% and global 32% counterparts, while 42% have adopted new pricing models versus the 34% in sub-Saharan Africa and 24% globally. And still 39% have explored new go-to-market strategies, compared to the 36% in sub-Saharan Africa and 25% globally. The report also indicates that nearly 42% of CEOs believe their businesses may not be viable in the next 10 years without major transformation, reinforcing the urgency for continued innovation and diversification. We'll take a quick break now, and when we return, we will move over to the health sector, where the Coordinating Minister of Health and Professor Muhammad Ali Patti has urged pharmaceutical companies and importers to leverage government waivers to increase the availability of affordable inhalers for Nigerians. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Well, many thanks for staying with us. Now in health, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Patti, has urged pharmaceutical companies and importers to leverage government waivers to increase the availability of affordable inhalers for Nigerians. Patti made the appeal in Abuja during the commemoration of World Asthma Day. In his statement, he reaffirmed the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare's commitment to reducing the burden of asthma and ensuring equitable access to life-saving inhaled treatment for all Nigerians. Now, asthma is a chronic respiratory disease that affects millions globally, including a significant number of Nigerians. For the World Health Organization 2020 data, it says Nigeria recorded 8,192 asthma-related deaths, accounting for 0.55% of total deaths, placing Nigeria 58 globally. These figures are a sober reminder of the urgent need for collective action to strengthen prevention, diagnosis, and management of asthma in Nigeria. Now, the federal government's strategic interventions in response to this is that the federal government has taken deliberate steps to reduce barriers to care and improve asthma outcomes through strategic interventions in line with the team. The minister also emphasized that the federal government's removal of import tariff duties on essential pharmaceutical products, including inhalers, was aimed at making life-saving asthma treatment more affordable and accessible across the country. He also highlighted other key interventions that the government has developed and implemented national policies on the non-communicable diseases, that's NDC, control program to strengthen asthma prevention, control, and management. And also primary health care, PHC services, are being reinforced to serve as the first point of contact for asthma care, especially in rural, undeserved communities with limited access to specialists. Now, in Ogun State, the governor of Ogun State, Adedapo Abiodun, has announced a major investment of $400 million Stellar Steel plant development in Shagamu. Ina Galazi Group is said to be developing the plant in Shagamu, according to the statement by the governor via his X page. The governor says the project covers over 100 hectares, even as the road core steel even as the facility will produce hot rolled coil steel, a vital material for the construction, manufacturing, and automotive industries. He highlighted that the project is set for completion by April 2026 and marks a significant milestone in the state's industrial development agenda. The president of the Inner Galaxy Group, Li Shuang, disclosed that his company was ready to invest $400 million in establishing a hot rolled coil steel factory in Ogun State. Now, Shuang, who led a delegation of principal officers of the company on a courtesy visit, made the commitment at the meeting. According to him, the proposed factory would have the capacity to employ about 6,500 direct and indirect workers and will be located in a Wekoro local government area of Ogun State. Now, these are the news that we brought to you. Do not forget, these are news making rounds in the world of business. First, we began by telling you what the governor of Abia State is doing, announcing plans to launch a comprehensive enumeration of all residential and commercial properties across the state as part of efforts to boost internally generated revenue from 40 billion naira to 120 billion naira by the end of 2025. And we told you that he says the initiative represents a significant step in the government's broader economic strategy aimed at achieving fiscal sustainability and improving public sector performance. And we also told you that Bitcoin climbed above $97,000 on Wednesday before settling back to $96,000 as markets reacted to China's liquidity injection and speculation over potential U.S. Federal Reserve monetary policy shifts. And we added that the surge coincided with China's announcement of a 130 billion economic stimulus package. And we mentioned that gold maintained its shine while Bitcoin hovered around $100,000 as investors braced for the Federal Reserve's policy announcement amid heightened geopolitical risk. We highlighted that the U.S. Federal Open Market Committee is expected to maintain its interest rate between 4.25% and 4.50%, consistent with its previous two-day policy decision during the meeting. And Nigerian business leaders are learning into artificial intelligence, AI, and strategic reinvention to future-proof their companies amid rising economic pressures. We said that the PwC's 28th Annual Global CEO Survey report reveals that 72% of Nigerian CEOs expect AI to significantly transform their workforce and skills strategies, outspacing their peers in Sub-Saharan Africa 60% and globally by 68%. We'll take a quick break now, and when we return, we'll take a rundown of the rest of the highlights on Business Point. Please stay with us.
Know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television.